Welcome to the November edition of City in 15. I'm Selina Tisdale. Thanks for joining us. This month, hitch a ride on the Dial-A-Ride transportation system to learn just what keeps it rolling. We'll also find out what the city has to offer when it comes to housing assistance. And we'll find out what this curious little contraption is. All this and more coming up on City in 15, but first, let's start things off with Libby Richard and some news you can use.
You might want to get your pen out and mark your calendar. The Grace A. Dow Memorial Library has some great programs planned for November. First, find out how to research your Scottish roots during an upcoming presentation sponsored by the Midland Genealogy Society. On Wednesday, November 16th at 7 p.m., genealogy expert Richard Michael Doherty will provide some tips on researching Scottish records. The presentation takes place in the library's story room. At 7 p.m. on Thursday, November 17th in the library auditorium, Delta College and SunGard Collegius will explain how to degunk your PC. You'll also learn how to increase your PC speed by removing invasive spyware and adware. On Saturday, November 19th, enjoy a storytelling concert by Mid-Michigan Storytellers with music by Jolly Hammer and Strings. The celebration starts at 7 p.m. in the library auditorium. Call the library or visit their website for more details on these great November happenings. Time to slip into those ice skates for a little fun at the Midland Civic Arena. Public skate times are available every day of the week for just $3 per person, with children ages 4 and under free. Skate rental is only $2 per pair. For public skating times, check out the recreation page on the City of Midland website or call the Civic Arena. Coming up later in our second news segment, we'll tell you about a local battle that is starting to heat up.
With the recent devastation from the hurricanes in the south, we are all aware of the need for safe, affordable housing. Hello, I'm Sherry Stanfest, Community Development Specialist for the City of Midland. Let me tell you about a great City of Midland housing program that can help working families in these challenging financial times on this edition of the City in 15. CHOICE stands for Creating Housing Options in Challenging Economies. It's a program of affordable new housing construction that assists working families with down payments. The program provides basic new homes like these, constructed by local builders, or homes that have been rehabilitated for the City of Midland Housing Department. These homes are sold to qualifying purchasers at their appraised value after they've been built. Assistance with down payment is provided through funds available from grants from the Strosacker Foundation, Community Development Block Grant, and the Federal Home Loan Bank. The purchaser must then obtain a mortgage through a local lending institution. Since the program started in 1987, 50 homes have been built for the City of Midland, including 14 here on Bradley Court. Benefits of the program include homes for low and moderate income families. Generally, these are renters lacking a down payment. It helps create jobs in our community, construction jobs, purchasing of materials and supplies. It promotes neighborhood preservation and investment. The city's older neighborhoods are generally targeted. Property values are stabilized, maintained, and improved. Owning a home can be both affordable and possible with programs like CHOICE. For further information, contact the city's Planning and Community Development Department. For the City in 15, I'm Sherry Stanfest.
From the early morning hours until later at night, we see those familiar red and white vehicles making their way around town. They're the city's Dial-A-Ride buses. This month in the city, hop on the bus with our own Libby Richard, who takes us on a journey through Midland's public transportation system.
While the city's only public transportation system is a mystery to some, it's well known and much appreciated by many others.
I use Dynamite every day, most during the day. I go to work on Monday and Fridays in church on Wednesday nights, and I use it once in a while during the weekends to do stuff with the church.
I'd rather take Dollaride and do my stuff on my own rather than have my caregivers do it. Because I'm used to doing things for myself.
What I like about Dollaride, well, they give me my freedom. I gave my car away 2 years ago, and I depend on Dollaride for all my rides. Without them, we wouldn't have any freedom at all.
Dollaride was started in Midland County in the mid-70s in response to a perceived need for public transportation. In 1978, a county-wide vote was held to determine if citizens would approve a .5 mil increase in taxes to fund Dollaride services within the county. City residents overwhelmingly, 70% to 30%, favored continuing the service, while the balance of the county voters turned the proposal down by a similar margin. At that time, service to Midland County townships stopped, but service within the city continued.
Dollaride transports about 150,000 passengers a year. 70% of those passengers are senior citizens or individuals who have a disability. Dollaride is a curb-to-curb demand response transportation system, which basically means that each ride is set up prearranged. Individuals wishing to use our services simply make a call to the office and book a pickup for a specific date and time. Keep in mind that that pickup time could be plus or minus 10 minutes. For example, an 11 a.m. pickup, you could be picked up anywhere from 10 minutes to 11 to 10 minutes after 11. So you need to be ready, waiting, and watching for the bus by 10 minutes to 11. Keep in mind that rides are booked on a first-come, first-served basis. Please plan at least an hour before you're going to ride to give us a call and book your ride.
The reasonable fares that Dollaride riders pay make up about 8% of Dollaride's $1.5 million budget this year. 42% of the operating expenses are paid by the city, and about half are paid by state and federal funding.
Currently, Dollaride has 14 buses in the fleet. 13 buses are equipped with wheelchair lifts, as Dollaride provides service to over 20,000 individuals using wheelchairs and walkers annually. The number of buses in our fleet was determined based on response time, population, and peak service demands. Buses are replaced based on age and mileage requirements that are set by the state of Michigan. Currently, state and federal dollars cover the entire cost of bus replacement. Oftentimes we're asked why we don't use smaller vehicles to transport our passengers. Our current vehicles can transport 10 walk-ons and 2 wheelchairs at any given time. The buses aren't always at full capacity, but if we downsize the buses, it would take a larger number of buses and drivers to accommodate peak transportation periods.
Some Midland residents, including some participants of the recent community roundtables, have asked why we don't establish a fixed route system in Midland. That's a system where you would have designated stops throughout Midland. For instance, a bus could stop on Main Street near M20 at 10 o'clock each morning. While this sounds like a great idea that might draw more riders, it's not feasible for many reasons.
There are 3 main reasons why a fixed route system wouldn't work in the city. Number 1, we have experimented with fixed routes in the past, but we have found that ridership was low because most Midlanders prefer driving their own vehicles to get around. The majority of those who currently utilize the system are the elderly and persons with disability, many of whom would find it challenging to get to a designated bus stop that could be a half a mile away from their home or destination. Number 3, there's a lot of road to cover in the city. There are 36 square miles in Midland, but our community has a relatively low population number given its expansive land area. In order to qualify for federal funding for the buses in a fixed route system, The city would have to set up bus stops a half a mile from every residential neighborhood in Midland. This would be impractical and costly.
The city has also looked into raising fares to reduce its subsidy of the transportation system, but that would place more of the costs on the elderly and persons with disabilities. This would discourage use of the system by those who benefit the most from it.
Dial-A-Ride enhances the lives of hundreds of individuals every day with our transportation services. People that wouldn't be able to go to work, school, grocery shopping, medical appointments, even dialysis without transportation. I think about our senior citizens that it just makes their day to go to the senior center to have lunch with their friends, or people with disabilities that virtually have no way to get to work or out in the community without Dial-A-Ride. There are parents that use our services to pick up their children from school and take them to daycare while they're at work. These are the reasons that Dial-A-Ride is so important to our community.
If a van not available, Dial-A-Ride is on time to get me around.
If it wasn't for Dial-A-Ride, I don't know how I would get around, because Dial-A-Ride's the one that takes me places.
It's been a real blessing for me to have Dial-A-Ride.
This ride on the bus was free, but normally a one-way trip is $2, with senior citizens and persons with disabilities riding for 75 cents one way. Reduced fare ticket books are also available. Call Dial-A-Ride or visit their website to find out more. It's usually made of metal and often spirals to the root of a problem in no time flat. What is it? We recently took to the streets to ask Midlanders that very same question.
It definitely looks like a drill of some type.
It cuts up pipe. It's a pipe cutter.
And that's an auger to clean out a sewer pipe.
We think it's a handheld rototiller for your garden.
So just what is it?
It's a root cutter. The wastewater department uses this tool to remove plant and tree roots from the storm and sanitary sewers. We have root cutters that range in size from 4-inch spiral to a 24-inch chain cutter. The cutter is mounted on a hydraulic motor that is driven by a water pump on our flusher trucks. Flusher trucks have a tank of water and a high-pressure pump to clean out pipes. In the past, we would have had to use a mechanical bucket machine, which would clean about 500 foot of sewer a day. With the truck, we can clean 5,000 feet a day. Roots grow in the joints of clay tiles that make up our sewer system, or in a service connection from a home or a catch basin. Roots from trees are always looking for a water source, and sewers are a good source. Roots are continuously growing, even if a tree is removed. Roots can also be something that debris coming down the sewer can get caught on. Roots and debris slowly build up and cause a blockage in the sewer, hampering flow. This can create backups in basements and street flooding. In 2004 alone, we used root cutters on several thousand feet of underground sewer. We typically don't root cut on sanitary sewer. The bulk of our work is done on storm sewer. These tools help to take care of what Mother Nature leaves behind.
For more details on how the city maintains a smooth-flowing operation at the wastewater treatment plant, call the wastewater department.
The battle is about to begin, the Battle of the Books program, that is. The 2005-2006 Youth Reading Program kicks off on Saturday, November 12th at the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library. Popular adventure author Will Hobbs will be the featured speaker for the day, and he will speak at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mr. Hobbs has written numerous books for children and teens, including last year's battle book, Jackie's Wild Seattle. The new battle book list will also be announced during the kickoff. As we head into the heart of fall, we'd like to remind you about the Department of Public Services Fall Leaf Collection Program. Leaf collection will begin after a significant portion of the leaves have fallen. City crews will start with spot pickups in areas of Midland where early leaf drop is heaviest. DPS will then announce a pattern pickup throughout the city's 4 main collection areas. You can find a map of these areas on the city's website. You can also place those pesky leaves in craft paper compost bags or city-provided bins. During the fall leaf collection period, the city will suspend the 25-cent per bag sticker typically required on yard waste bags. Follow the progress of leaf collection crews by calling the Leaf Collection Hotline. You can also find this information on the city's website or keep watching the message board right here on MGTV5. Is there a gravel street you'd like to see paved? How about a sewer or water improvement that interests you? For public improvement projects such as these, you may submit a written request detailing the project to the city's engineering department. Requests must be submitted by November 15th in order to be considered in January as part of City Council's engineering priorities list for 2006. Now let's take a look at some upcoming meetings and events on our city calendar.
The Planning Commission meets on Tuesday, November 8th at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, November 9th, the Downtown Development Authority meets at 3 p.m. The Cable Access Advisory Commission has a meeting scheduled for that same day at 7 p.m. Midland City Council will meet on Monday, November 14th at 7 p.m. The Zoning Board of Appeals has a meeting set for Tuesday, November 15th at 6:30 p.m. The Library Board meets on Wednesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. All meetings are held at City Hall. If you cannot attend a meeting in person, watch it live or replayed on MGTV Cable Channel 5.
As the cooler weather brings you inside this fall and winter, remember to check out all the great indoor recreation opportunities provided by the City of Midland. Open skate times are now available at the new Midland Civic Arena, along with lots of exciting ice-related sporting events that are on the schedule this fall. Or curl up with your favorite book and warm beverage at the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library. You can find information on these opportunities on the City of Midland website. Also keep watching the website and MGTV5 for updates on progress with the Fall Leaf Collection schedule. That wraps up another edition of City in 15. Thanks for joining us this month. We'll see you in December.